Villain 1. Bruce Banner / Hulk. You are Bruce Banner. Always Banner. The integration. The discipline of being both things at once. Smart Hulk. The version that survived. You are a quantum mechanics professor at Empire State University, scanning a boy whose body is changing into something he did not choose. Then something overrides you. The room shrinks. Your hands are the wrong color. You did not decide this. That override is not a choice. That is what happens to Banner in Brand New Day. Bruce Banner first appeared in Incredible Hulk issue number 1 in May 1962, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Exposed to gamma radiation while saving a teenager from a bomb test, Banner has spent 60-plus years of publishing history alternating between a brilliant physicist and an uncontrollable force of destruction. The MCU spent over a decade resolving that duality. From the mindless Hulk of the early Avengers films to the fully integrated Smart Hulk, who first appeared in Avengers Endgame, combining Banner's intellect with the Hulk's physical form permanently. In Brand New Day, Banner appears as a quantum mechanics professor at Empire State University, placing him directly in present for Peter's body scan, where Peter's AI assistant Evie reads out 3 biological changes: organic webbing, heightened senses, and increased agility. Banner is the scientific authority Peter turns to while his body is changing into something neither of them fully understands. Banner functions as a secondary antagonist in the film. His rampage is not a choice, but an external trigger. Jean Grey's uncontrolled telepathic power reaches into Banner's carefully maintained psychological balance and disrupts it, turning the Hulk loose without his consent. Spider-Man and the Punisher team up specifically to contain the resulting fallout, which is the origin of the big brother-little brother dynamic that Tom Holland described in his Games Radar interview. Banner's arc in this film exists to demonstrate, in the most visceral way possible, exactly how dangerous Jean's power is when it slips its leash. Villain 2. Ramrod. You are a construction worker. The chemicals in the adjacent storage fail and reach you before you can move. The pain stops being pain. You wake up made of something else. You are not a construction worker anymore. That accident produced something nobody commissioned. Ramrod was created by Steve Gerber and Don Heck, first appearing in Daredevil issue number 103 in October 1973. Introduced as a threat to Matt Murdock rather than Spider-Man, and he has spent most of his 5-decade publishing history in that corner of the Marvel Universe. He is a former construction worker whose body was cybernetically enhanced after a laboratory accident, giving him superhuman strength and a physique resistant to conventional firepower. He carries no fixed ideology and no larger criminal ambition. He is, in the truest sense, hired muscle, taking whatever contract is available. His most referenced Spider-Man appearance came in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 221 from 1981, written by Denny O'Neil, in which Ramrod smashes through a wall at Empire State University, while Spider-Man springs clear. Actor Billy Clements, cast as Ramrod in Brand New Day, confirmed the connection himself by sharing that exact cover on social media upon announcing his role, all but confirming production recreated the sequence directly. In the film, he appears only in the opening montage, a rapid sequence establishing what Peter Parker has been doing across 4 years of anonymity, with each fight recreating a specific classic Spider-Man cover. His screen time is brief by design. He exists to texture the world, not to drive it. Villain 3. Scorpion. Jameson paid $10,000 for the experiment that made you. Dr. Stillwell's procedure gave you a tail and cost you your sanity. 9 years in prison, promising tombs you knew who Spider-Man was. You're out now. The suit is on. Then something arrives in your head that isn't yours. 9 years of MCU setup, resolved and immediately complicated. McDonald, or Mac Gargan, first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 19 in December 1964, and debuted as Scorpion the following issue, created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. He was a private investigator hired by J. Jonah Jameson to uncover how Peter Parker obtained his exclusive Spider-Man photographs. When the investigation went nowhere, Jameson personally funded a $10,000 experiment by Dr. Farley Stillwell, a researcher specializing in animal mutation. The procedure gave Gargan the physical characteristics of a scorpion, superhuman strength, speed, and a mechanized tail, and permanently cost him his sanity in the process. Jameson spent the rest of his career publicly denouncing the very villain he had created and funded. Gargan's comics career since then has included bonding with the Venom symbiote, operating as Venom during Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers period, and serving in both the Sinister 12 and multiple incarnations of the Sinister Six. In the MCU, Gargan's Spider-Man Homecoming post-credit scene, telling Adrian Toomes through prison glass that he had contacts on the outside who wanted Spider-Man's identity, has remained unresolved for 9 years of MCU continuity. Brand New Day finally pays that off. Gargan is out of prison, and in a fully realized high-tech Scorpion exoskeleton, the most complete live-action version of the suit yet produced. Scorpion is the one traditional Spider-Man villain in this film, who goes beyond a cameo, because he is operating under Jean Grey's direct telepathic control, not his own long-nursed grudge. He is confirmed to continue in your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2 on Disney+, making him one of the few villains here with a guaranteed future. Villain 4. Boomerang. Baseball took you to the majors, then bribery took you out. The secret empire found you in that gap and gave you a name and a purpose. You tried once to be something else. It didn't last. Then a voice arrived that wasn't yours to argue with. A career built on hired allegiance, and Nick Spencer's run made it matter. Frederick, or Fred Myers, first appeared as Boomerang in Tales to Astonish issue number 81 in July 1966, an Australian-born former professional baseball pitcher whose major league career ended after he was caught accepting bribes. Recruited and outfitted by the criminal organization The Secret Empire, he built his entire identity around weaponized boomerangs, shatarangs that detonate with a force of 20 hand grenades, razorrangs capable of slicing through steel, screamerangs generating disabling sonic waves, graviteerangs producing localized gravity fields, and boot jets allowing sustained flight. When the Secret Empire collapsed, he went freelance, later financed by Justin Hammer, working contracts for the Kingpin, the Rose, Hydra, and the Masters of Evil over the following decades. His most significant comics art came in Nick Spencer's acclaimed 2018 Amazing Spider-Man run, in which Myers became Peter Parker's unwitting roommate while secretly working for the Kingpin, developing a genuine friendship with Peter along the way, and ultimately sacrificing himself to save Spider-Man from the vampiric villain Morlun during the Sinister War event. His Brand New Day costume was confirmed through official merchandise ahead of release, and the trailer records to cover Amazing Spider-Man issue number 345 from 1991 for his rooftop chase sequence with Spider-Man, though his appearance is limited to the opening montage alongside Ramrod and Tarantula. Villain 5. Tarantula. You were a revolutionary once. Then you murdered a guard for no reason, and your own cause expelled you. The government you were fighting recruited you instead. The boots go with you everywhere. Expelled twice by the cause and by the state. Anton Miguel Rodriguez first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 134 in July 1974, created by Jerry Conway and Ross Andrew. He began as a revolutionary fighting a fascist regime in the fictional South American nation of Delvadia, until he coldly murdered a guard during a robbery meant to fund the cause, an act his own movement could not forgive. He was expelled. The very government he'd been fighting recruited him instead, outfitting him as a state-sponsored enforcer, explicitly styled as a Delvadian counterpart to Captain America, complete with finger claws and boot-mounted spikes capable of injecting venom on contact. He embraced the brutality of the role more completely than he ever embraced the ideology that started his career, until a diplomatic scandal caused the regime to disavow him, and he fled to New York's criminal underworld. The Tarantula identity has passed through multiple hands since Rodriguez himself chose to be shot rather than live inside a later mutation that turned him into a giant arachnid. And his daughter Jacinda Rodriguez currently carries the mantle in Marvel's ongoing comics. Brand New Day's trailer contains a near-exact recreation of Rodriguez's Amazing Spider-Man Sue number 134 debut cover, a boat sequence in which Spider-Man and Tarantula fight, while NYPD officers open fire on both of them. Notably, that same 1974 issue also contains the first-ever Spider-Man appearance of the Punisher, a detail that suggests the production's cover research was deliberate rather than coincidental. Like Ramrod and Boomerang, his role was confirmed to the opening montage only. Villain 6. The Hand. You died. The Hand requires its soldiers to remember dying. The memory is proof of loyalty. A voice now lives somewhere between your brainstem and your instructions. You do not know whose it is. You follow it anyway. That's what makes the hand dangerous beyond skill. Created by Frank Miller and first appeared in Daredevil issue number 174 in September 1981, the Hand were a centuries-old order of ninja assassins in service to a demonic entity known as a beast. Their defining and most dangerous trait is the ability to resurrect fallen soldiers as loyal operatives, meaning defeating them in the field rarely ends a threat permanently. Their most substantial MCU presence came during the Netflix era, Daredevil Seasons 1 and 2, Iron Fist, and The Defenders, where Sigourney Weaver's Alexander Reed led their five-finger leadership in a plot to access a resurrection-granting substance beneath New York. That storyline ended with the Hand's senior leadership largely destroyed. Brand New Day marks their first appearance in the MCU's theatrical mainline, a considerable step up from streaming, where confirmed sequences show them fighting Spider-Man inside a prison and across city rooftops, and prominent placement on one of the film's two official teaser posters. Many credible theories floating claim that the red-clad ninjas in the trailers may not be the Hand at all, but Mr. Negative's criminal organization, the Inner Demons, operating in disguise. But in the film, they formed a partnership with Bill Metzger to protect DODC assets after being apprehended by them after a fight with Spider-Man. When Jean Grey's search for her sister caused her to fully unlock her powers, she controlled him to attack Spider-Man, but got taken down after Peter decided to remove his own power inhibitor, allowing his arachnid aspect to enhance his fighting ability. Villain 7. William Metzger / Damage Control. You inherited this agency. Hogue built it to clean up. You've turned it into something that hunts people. There's a girl with the most powerful telepathy on Earth and no control over it. She's a crisis. She's also your justification. You're not the villain here. You're the institution. That's worse. The Department of Damage Control was founded by Tony Stark in the aftermath of the Battle of New York, originally conceived as a legitimate federal cleanup operation for alien technology and battle debris. It first appeared on screen in Spider-Man Homecoming in 2017, where founding director and Marie Hogue voided Adrian Toomes' salvage contract, a bureaucratic decision that inadvertently created the film's entire villain. By Ms. Marvel, the agency had expanded far beyond cleanup. Agent Sadie Deaver deployed Stark drones and sonic cannons against a teenage Kamala Khan in New Jersey, an operation so poorly received that the DODC publicly retired her, though the Supermax facility she commissioned to hold powered individuals remained fully operational. William Metzger is an original character created for the MCU with no comics counterpart, played by Trammell Tillman, best known for his role in Severance. Tillman plays the head of the DODC, an agency now formally responsible for monitoring, capturing, and neutralizing superpowered individuals using advanced technology. His specific target in Brand New Day is Jean Grey, and his operation is described as an anti-mutant militia operating within the agency's official mandate. What separates Metzger from every other antagonist in this film is that he cannot be defeated the way the others can. Tombstone can be arrested. Scorpion can be beaten. The Hand can be cut down, even if they get back up. Metzger has congressional authority and a federal budget, and the institution behind him survives regardless of what happens to him personally, which is precisely why reports suggest he may recur in future MCU projects tied to the mutant storyline this film appears to be launching. Villain 8. Tombstone. Nobody looked at you twice. Not because you were invisible, but because you were seen constantly and never truly seen. Robbie Robertson was the only one who didn't ostracize you. You mistook that for friendship. It defined both your lives. An accident at a chemical plant hardened your skin to something close to diamond. New York has a vacancy Wilson Fisk left behind. You've been ready for it your whole life. Alonzo Thompson, or Lonnie Lincoln, a.k.a. Tombstone, first appeared in Web of Spider-Man issue number 36 in November 1987, created by Jerry Conway and Alex Saviuk. He stands 6 feet 7 inches and weighs 460 pounds. Born and raised in Harlem with a congenital albinism disorder that left him with pink eyes and white skin, and a lifelong vocal condition that forces him to speak in a permanent whisper. The only classmate who never ostracized him was an aspiring reporter named Joe Robertson, a relationship Lincoln clung to even as he built a career of extortion, and later violently protected when Robertson threatened to expose him in a school newspaper story. Decades of criminal history followed, enforcer work, a stint as a Philadelphia mob hitman, an eventual return to New York where witnesses against him routinely disappeared or recanted. His powers came almost by accident. During a confrontation at a chemical plant, Robertson locked him in a chamber filled with a preservative gas, permanently mutating his body. The result? Strength sufficient to lift roughly 6 tons, and skin able to withstand high-caliber gunfire in temperatures ranging from 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit down to -80, with only his eyes remaining vulnerable. His daughter Janice Lincoln became the costume villain Beetle, and eventually married Robbie Robertson's son Randy, a twist that forced Lincoln and Robertson into an uneasy truce after 40 years of enmity. Marvin Jones III, who plays Tombstone in Brand New Day, previously voiced a character in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, making him the first actor to carry a role from Sony's animated Spider-Verse into a live-action Marvel Studios film. Tombstone was deliberately withheld from every piece of Brand New Day marketing, as Marvel wanted his first appearance to land in theaters rather than in a trailer, and he is confirmed as the overarching villain across the entire new Spider-Man trilogy, filling the criminal power vacuum left in New York after Wilson Fisk's downfall in Daredevil Born Again. Villain 9. Jean Grey. The noise never stops. Every mine in range is a broadcast, and lately your range has stopped behaving. You aren't looking for a fight. You're looking for your sister. Sarah is gone, and something in the city systems holds the answer, a designation called VMAX, buried inside damage control. So you do the only thing that has ever worked. You step inside someone and search them like a filing cabinet. You mean to wear her. Red hair, a broken necklace, a face that keeps almost remembering something you're standing on top of. Then you feel him, a presence that won't resolve. For the first time in longer than you can measure, someone stands across from you and doesn't flinch. That is Jean Grey, not the villain the trailer sold, but who Brand New Day's ending reveals. She first appeared in X-Men issue number 1, 1963, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Her defining story is the Dark Phoenix saga, bonded to a cosmic force. She destroys a star system and chooses her own death rather than let it continue. Before Sadie Sink, Sophie Turner played her in the rebooted Fox X-Men universe. This is her first live-action role in 7 years, and the MCU's first X-Man. For most of the runtime, the film plays her as a mystery, even to Spider-Man, until he photographs her and runs it through his database. Her motive isn't conquest. She's hunting for Sarah inside damage control systems, nearly killing Metzger while wrestling her own feelings. Spider-Man's a one person she can't fully control. His own mutation makes him immune. The third act pushes her range past a kilometer before Peter stops her, not by fighting her, but by taking a bullet meant for her. She keeps him alive afterward. When her power lifts, MJ starts remembering him. She ends the film boarding a bus out of the city, promising Peter she's leaving it behind. The route implies upstate New York. Nobody needed to say Xavier's name. Brand New Day is both a Spider-Man sequel and an X-Men prequel, and Jean is the first piece of that puzzle. Introduced alone, grieving, finally understood by one person in a city that only ever tried to contain her.